It was a great win. The problem is we've seen flashes like this from the Nats this year. Just over 2 weeks ago, they beat the Mets in a walk-off, scoring 2 runs in the ninth. We thought that would be the start of something. Then they lost 10-1 the next night. It'll be very interesting to see if Bryce Harper gets an invite if he isn't voted in by the fans. He's missed about a month. He's hitting just .276. But he is one of the most electrifying players in the game. Peyton Manning has mastered what it takes to run offenses for 13 years, pointing and orchestrating at the line of scrimmage. The probable pitchers for the Blue Jays over the weekend, Dickey, Wong, and Johnson. Could be some stiff competition.
Stop it.
We all think he's going to be great, although I've made the point, and I did last night on the baseball show, that I see more of Tim Hudson, consistent winner, very good, than I see Roger Clemens. But on this team, which is going to be void of leadership right now, because you lost Ed Reed, because you lost Ray Lewis, because you lost even a guy like Anquan Bolden, the guys who've been around, it's going to fall by default to the MVP of the Super Bowl, who just signed at the time the richest contract in NFL history. They're just going to need him. They're going to need him to be a leader. Live from New Orleans, it's Saturday night. Our week-long marathon coverage of Super Bowl 47 is almost over. Carl Alston, before the playoffs, said the only way to prove you can win the Cup is to win the Cup. And the Caps fall short, losing in the first round in a 7-game series in which they led 2-0 and led 3 games to 2. Thank you so much for joining us on this truly exciting day in Major League Soccer. Chris Davis very well may be the MVP in all of baseball. He just might not be the MVP of the Orioles this year. Rob Perlin, Brian Dunseth, we've got the Timbers Army behind us. They are desperate for something to cheer for after 5 straight losses. Welcome into the 41st annual Maryland Madness with this great home field advantage, the battle for first place on the line. How crucial was that first goal in the 2nd minute of the game? Mike Shanahan all week stressed you want to play in a game like this, a game you'll remember for the rest of your lives. When Gary Williams had a Final Four team, a national championship team, there weren't moral victories. There were wins and there were gut-wrenching losses. After giving up 3 to the Mets, he's now given up 15 on the season. And one thing's becoming painfully clear. Herron is frustrated. Barry Cofield, who was a monster today, tips the pass at the line of scrimmage, leads to that London Fletcher interception. The Redskins then do march down the field, take the lead. After retirement, a lot of players do things for their hometown. They can donate money, they could put their names on a charity, but they're not there getting their hands dirty. Michael Jackson has been doing just that since he moved back home after his playing career was done. And he made a very interesting move from player to mayor. The tiny rural town of Tangipahoa, Louisiana is about 70 miles north of New Orleans, but it feels like a world away. Overwhelmed with poverty, it's also home to former Ravens star Michael Jackson.
When you go home, you're just whatever they called you there. Mike is what I'm more so around here. And I'm like, man, I am almost 50 years old and I'm still being called Mike.
He may be Mike to his friends, but for the last 4 years, he was Mr. Mayor to the residents. He ran for office to make a difference, something more than just writing checks and making donations.
I wanted to help people, and I didn't want to continually dig into my pocket and put money into a pit, knowing that it wasn't going to be enough to dig us out. And so I asked the people if they would give me the opportunity to act on behalf of them.
Thank you, babe.
For the last 4 years, he tried to negotiate his way through the tangled web of politics and help the people he's known his whole life. But this isn't easy, and he was recently voted out of office. So he'll keep fighting the fight, now as a concerned citizen.
I was beat down. I was beat down by the lack of understanding. I was beat down by the lack of desire to do things the way that it needs to be done in order to grow.
Being the mayor of this small town, his hometown, has been humbling for this former NFL star, and Mike admits he does miss being around the guys. But as we started taking a trip down memory lane, you could literally hear the competitive juices start flowing again.
And that's not Anquan Bolden.
That's the original 81.
That's the original 81. That's the original 81. If I were to be talking to Ray Lewis today, that's what he called me. I don't think he know my name anymore
Really?
because all he's going to say is 8-1.
You guys put up some numbers. You, Derek Alexander, Vinny Testaverde. Do you wish that offense had the Raven defense?
Or do the Ravens defense wish they had that offense? Nah, that was so Michael Jackson to me.
Jackson once led the league in touchdowns with 14, and he honestly believes that offense, with this defense, would have been dominant.
If we had the defense that the Ravens have had over the past 10 years, then I think we probably would be compared to the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, San Francisco 49ers, those teams that had dynasties, New England Patriots. We would have been compared to those guys.